Alright guys, another long plane review for you, this time for the Real Ghostbusters on the Amstrad CPC. Now, the Real Ghostbusters was basically a comic strip and cartoon series that came out not long after the first Ghostbusters movie. And I absolutely loved this comic strip. I think it was pretty much the only comic I bought as a kid. And as you can see in the box there, they've got some really cool action figures. I remember collecting quite a few of them. I absolutely loved the Ghostbusters. I always preferred being a Ghostbuster as a kid, whereas all my friends in the playground, they were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Batman or whatever. I was always a Ghostbuster. And I made my own proton pack out of a cornflake packet, which I sellotaped to my back, and had a long bog roll tube as my proton stick attached by a piece of string. Now, just something very quickly, I've always wondered about why does it have the real before the name, the Real Ghostbusters. Well, according to Wikipedia, this was because there was a company called Filmation who made many famous cartoon series like He-Man, Masters in the Universe and stuff. They actually made a children's live-action TV series called the Ghostbusters in the mid-70s, and the film company paid them for the license to use the name for the movie. And pretty shortly after the movie, Filmation actually made their own cartoon series, rather cheekily. So there's a bit of a messy legal dispute, and they got around it basically by the film company wanted to do their own cartoon series by renaming it The Real Ghostbusters. So there you go. Anyway, so like I was saying, I thought it was far cooler to be a Ghostbuster, and I was still buying the comic books well into the early 90s. And and the TV series is pretty good as well. And I always had a bit of a crush on Janine Melnitz in the in the cartoon series. I love my 80s chicks. But I certainly didn't have a crush on her in the movie, and I certainly sexed her up for the cartoon. Anyway, this is a conversion of an arcade machine from Data East. It was reasonably successful, but wasn't really pushing any boundaries at the time. And so here comes the home computer version for the Amstrad CPC from Activision, released in 1988. And I remember as soon as this was released, going out and buying this with my pocket money right away, and being pretty disappointed with it actually. I think the main killer for me was the long loading times, especially between the levels. It's a real pain in the arse, especially if you died, because there was no continues. And as well as some other bugs and problems, which we will come on to shortly. Guys, this has been an absolute nightmare doing this long play, and we'll talk about that soon enough. Here's the title screen, the music, and if you want to listen to the excellent music in full, you can do so at the very end of this video without me talking over the top of it. Anyway, let's do a jump cut here, and let's go to the first level and cut out that loading time. And here we go. Right, as you can see, we've got like an overhead view of our Ghostbuster, who's not named. I can presume it's probably Peter Venkman or something like that, Bill Murray's character, who is the most popular Ghostbuster. And as you can see, we can fly a proton-like bullets or whatever. That sort of destroy monsters or cut down to size the other spooks and demons. And then basically, if you hold the fire button down, you can fire a proton beam, and that will slowly suck ghosts into your proton pack. Of course, in the movie and even in the comic strip, ghosts are captured by using a trap. They're not sucked into the proton pack. But okay, we'll let them off because it will make the gameplay rather awkward if you're having to drop traps all the time. Yeah, the more ghosts you collect, the more bonus points you get at the end of the mission. More bonus points equals more lives, of course. And so far, no music in game, but some okay sound effects. And we've got like 8-way scrolling, which is reasonably fast. It's certainly not particularly smooth, but there's an awful lot of action going on the screen with bullets and, you know, other things flying about and sprites and stuff. So the scrolling's a little bit rough, but it plays alright. And basically we've got to reach the top of the level where we fight a guardian. And they're relatively easy to defeat if you've picked up like an upgrade to your weapons. Pick up a key. And then to the exit there, like so. A little sort of intermission scene showing you depositing ghosts at your base for bonus points. Nasty distortion between levels as they're loading. And well, here we are. This is obviously stage 2. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna just talk a little bit about the problems and sort of bugs in this game. Well, first of all, I don't like that nasty sort of distortion between loading. And did you notice it said like loading level 0 to 0 and loading level 000 and stuff like that? You know, it's pretty poor stuff, really. Although to be fair, I'm not sure if that is an emulation problem, or you know, or the problem with the actual dump of the game, because I did have lots and lots of problems with the dumps of the games available on the internet for emulation. The first complete dump found on the CPC Power website didn't work at all in WinApe emulator, although it did seem to work alright in Arnold, so maybe that's a WinApe problem. But I only record my videos in WinApe emulator, so I'll have to find another dump of the game, which I did on the TACGR website. That worked fine. Apart from the last 2 levels, which spectacularly crash loading the last level. So in the end I had to resort to using the cassette dump, loading very slowly from cassette via emulation, which wasn't good. Anyway, we'll come on to that later on. Just so you know, this has been a real nightmare doing this long play. I wish I hadn't bothered now, to be frank with you. But I've always wanted to finish this game. You know, as I said, I had this as a kid, and I was absolutely terrible at it. I just tended to rush through the level with my proton beam, just blasting away constantly, not concentrating, because the collision detection is a little bit iffy at times. And I soon died. I didn't get. And with the long loading, having to rewind the cassette and reload the bloody level again, I just, after a few goes, I never bothered with it again. I just got fed up, so I didn't really have much chance to practice, really. I think even if you die on the first level, it makes you rewind and start again, if I remember correctly. Not good. Because I think the Commodore 64 and Spectrum versions are pretty good, actually. And I felt like this Amstrad version was definitely the last in line to be programmed and rushed a fair bit. Does share a lot in common with the Spectrum graphics, but they've seemed to use these, you know, sort of nasty combination of oranges, greens, and browns with a smattering of black, which is a bit unfortunate for me, really. Sure, it's in mode 1, so it's basically only 4 colours. Which means, you know, more detailed graphics. I guess there's a lot of sprites and things going on the screen, so I guess it's perhaps better to be mode 1 and more detailed rather than lots of colours and blocky mode 0. But I'm sure they could have achieved it. So strangely enough, the Spectrum version looks a bit better. I mean, it's pretty much monochrome with sort of splashes of colour here and there, but at least the colour sort of really changes between the levels. On the Amstrad version, you've either only got like a green floor or an orange floor with the rest of the background's reversed, so yeah, not impressed. A lot of the sprites don't even have animation, frames of animation. Those sort of walking zombie things look absolutely terrible, but they do have like at least 2 frames of animation. I will say there's some decent boss battles though, although they're relatively easy. You just kind of like stand out of harm's way. And if you manage to sort of upgrade your weapon, it didn't take long to kill them all. Oh yeah, just watch out for your time running out there. At the top of the screen there, your time ticking down. As you can see, right, just the bar sort of like going down just below the little ghost symbol on the top bar there. That's my proton pack power for your proton beam. Watch that doesn't run out. Just above that is the number of the ghosts collected, and then to the right of that, number of lives, which we've got 5. And of course your score above that. On to Ghostbusters HQ to deposit our ghosts into the containment system. And on to stage 4. Nice bit of corruption there again. Oh look, this time we've got a green floor this time, instead of an orange one, woohoo. Just start to slow down and chug with a lot of sprites on screen, but it's still playable. The controls are alright, they are responsive. It's relatively easy to flip between shooting your bullets and holding the fire button down for your proton stream. Just sometimes your character placement can be a little bit awkward. You can get stuck on the scenery and stuff like that. Sometimes navigating those pointy heads sticking up out the ground can be quite tricky sometimes. And there are a few routes throughout the level. We've taken the right hand route here. So it's nice you've got multiple routes. Some ways are a little bit trickier than others. And don't forget, some demons and monsters you shoot, and when they turn into their little sort of ghosts, some of them will contain sort of like power pickups and stuff. So it's worth going for them. You'll see the symbol flash next to the ghost for a short amount of time. Oh, there's one. I think that was a Slimer icon on that, but we've already got Slimer, the ghost. As you can see, he's buzzing around us. Anything he touches turns to one of the orange ghosts. The orange ghosts can't kill you, by the way. So just suck them up in your proton pack. Those orange bars increase your proton pack strength and length for your beam, sorry, your streamer in fact. Watch out for the projectiles of those enemies just above me there. They can be a little bit awkward. Those sort of like mud monster things. Some nice sprites in the game. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, did I mention this? There's 10 stages, so coming up to the halfway mark of stage 5 shortly. And there is some kind of ending, which we'll come on to as well. Those things can be a little bit awkward. For some reason, you've got to be in the right place for them to appear on the screen. But notice we're running out of time there, so we've got to be pretty quick. Eight seconds left. There we go. Is that a nude lady on that doorway there? Interesting. Okay. Oh, what happened to my sprite there? It looked like he was on the floor there for a second, and then he's got up. Anyway, I'm starting to get a little bit bored here now. I mean, the gameplay doesn't really sort of change that much. In fact, some of the levels actually sort of repeat themselves, but with just different enemies. A little bit naughty. I don't remember how many levels there was in the arcade version. I haven't played the arcade version in a long time. I remember, I God, a few years ago playing it. I think it was ridiculously hard. I remember wasting a heck of a lot of credits in that. And sometimes, anyway, on this version, the best method is to just basically rush as quick as you can. Get to the end as quickly as you can and defeat the bad guy. We'll be careful here. An awful lot of stuff flying about the screen. Right, and I think it's this level that ends up having a bit of a bug at the end, or is it one of the next two levels? Can't remember. Oh yeah, that sort of green demon that's sort of jumping out the mud there in the middle, and for some reason he can't be killed. At least I've not been able to with one of my proton bullets or a proton streamer. Oh yeah, what's happened to the end level boss? Very strange. So I ended up going back down. Oh, and there they are. So that's a bit of a bug there. The end level bosses didn't appear. But we could just stay out of harm's way there, because only sort of fire left, right and down, and just shoot them diagonally. If you picked up a weapon upgrade like I have, those bullets cause more damage. And just one more to kill there. The green demon with a scythe there by the looks of it. There we go. Level 6 coming up. Oh, that means I've got to change the disc over to side 2. It's rather a quick dump there. This dump of the game is. I think it's dumped from the cassette version and sort of converted to load from disc. Anyway, but at least it works. Oh yes, there's another level that's sort of repeated itself. And I think to the right, just on the cliff up there, is a very useful pickup, I think. Yes, that pickup there to the right, just in between all those sort of sticky up rocks, that makes you invulnerable temporarily, or puts a shield around you. That's the one. And then just basically peg it up to the top as quickly as possible for the boss battle. Get a few pickups on the way. And here's the boss. These are dead easy. As you can see. Oh, what happened there? Is he coming back? Not quite sure what happened there. Was there 2 bosses or 3 bosses? Or just 2 bosses and then one of the final bosses just reappears to have a go at you again? I don't know. Oh yeah, it is a 2-player game, forgot to mention. The 2-player option, I'm not showing it in the video, does work relatively well. Oh right, okay, stage 7. This stage is an absolute swine. I think this is arguably probably the hardest stage in the game, because there's some nasty big clusters of enemies that appear at certain points in the game. There's a big nasty horde of them waiting for me on the right there. So we'll ignore them and go a different way. Anyway, let's have a little read of the box. What's the story of this? Okay, Real Ghostbusters is a 1 or 2 player multi-level game in which players control members of Ghostbusters team. The object of the game is to fight your way through each of the 10 levels, capturing and storing ghosts on the way. The end of the level features 1 or more guardians. When defeated, will yield a key, allowing the player to exit that level. Characters are armed with both guns and proton beams. Creatures can be shot with either weapon to transform them into ghosts. Ghosts can then be zapped with proton beams to store them in the player's backpack. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, there's nothing much really about. There's no real kind of backstory about the game, which is a bit of a shame. Oh yeah, those big clusters of ghosts are real swine with all their massive amount of bullets they fire at you. Well, I call them bullets. What are they? Ectoplasm? Ecto bullets? I don't know. Well, the back of the box says you're saving your city from the spooks, but this doesn't look very much like a city or New York or whatever. It looks like you sort of, I don't know. Looks like you've been zapped to a different dimension or something, or some kind of spook dimension, I don't know. I have a feeling though that this arcade game was probably started off life as a totally different sort of game, and then had the Ghostbusters license slapped on it. Oh yeah, look, there's a nude lady on the door there. How interesting. But yeah, as it plays a lot, very similar to a lot of those overhead sort of shooting 'em ups. You know, it's pretty much like Commando meets Gauntlet or something like that. But I have to say, for this the Amstrad version, it plays alright. I mean, getting multi-directional scrolling with you know, basically you've got a fixed background and playing area. You're not scrolling sort of sections of the playing area, which would make things a lot easier for the programmers. You've got an awful lot of sprites and action going on the screen, so they've kind of done an alright job converting this. It certainly plays a lot better than, say, like Mercs, which is pretty similar to. Certainly the sprite movement and collision detection is a lot better. Right, anyway, this is level 8. Watch out for those holes in the floor. They tend to spawn various nasties, and they'll keep coming at you. Oh no, yes, we've encountered a very similar level. The sort of layout's been reused again. If you remember last time, there was a bit of a bug with the end level boss appearing, or bosses. And I think another bug occurs in this level again. This time the bosses do appear. As you can see, I've just killed one of them. But it's just one of the sprites that appeared in, I think, pretty much the first level actually. Just quite a lot of them, all at one time. Bit of a cop-out really for an end-level boss, just reusing one of the easier enemies. Just putting loads of them on the screen. Oh look, the key's already been dropped. So there's still quite a few of them left there. Oh yes, here's where the bug happens. Well, we've picked the key up, but the door doesn't open. Great. So we'll just sort of run around the bottom again and see if the game notices. I was really worried that I might have to restart the game actually and just do it all over. No, I wasn't concentrating there. I've lost my first or second life there. I can pretty much do this game without losing a life now. Oh look! The door's open, but it's scrolled me to the left of the door. Very strange. Yes. Well, I did mention there's quite a few bugs in this game, and we're about to see a very nasty bug at the end of this level, which is the penultimate level. And as you can see, you may have noticed already, it's reusing a level from earlier, just with different enemy layouts and different boss. Naughty Activision. Considering it made you spend about like 10 minutes loading this level up. I'll come on to summing up a review shortly. Let's just get to the end of this level and sort of see what happens. Ooh, screen's jittering there. You may notice the screen actually jitters occasionally, like the whole sort of screen vibrates. Again, don't know if that's an emulation problem. Damn it, I need that ghost there. That ghost had a protective shield pickup. There we go. And like before, we can run to the top of the screen. Here comes the boss. And stupidly, I forget that the shield doesn't actually protect you from the boss if you run into him. But he's easily defeated. Okay, right, that's the penultimate level done. On to the final level. Well, I expected to. Let's see what happens, guys. First of all, back to the Ghostbusters HQ containment. Right, let's load level 10 and see what happens then. Okay, we're back to Ghostbusters HQ. Press fire to start. Right, okay. And it's... what on earth is happening? And it's just repeated itself again. The level's not starting up. Something's trying to load, and we swap the disc overhead back to the side one, and we get that. Okay, and that's it. The game's crashed. I know later on now that is actually the end-game completion screen. So let's reload, and we're going to go for the cassette version this time, and we'll pick things up from the end of level 9 again. So guys, I had to replay all this through again using cassette loading. Obviously I could speed up the emulation to try and get the tape loading quicker. The first time I actually did that, after loading it all up, the first level corrupted and didn't load. So I had to do it all again. So I've played through this game without cheats. I can't find any cheats in this game. So I have to do it all again. So here we go. End of level 9. Let's see if this now works. And yes, we are cassette loading, guys. Ah, well, I hope that tape loading noise bring back some nostalgic memories for you with the flashing border. Do do do. Oh, fabulous. Do you know what, guys? I want to record the tape loading noise and put it on my mobile phone. That's going to be my new annoying ringtone, actually. I think I'll do that tomorrow. Alright, okay, we've got to Ghostbusters HQ there. Let's see if level 10 will actually load this time. Okay, that looks promising. Do you know what? While this is loading, I'm going to sum up a bit of review. An average, okay-ish conversion of an arcade game. Would have been a really good license, but perhaps, you know, the arcade original wasn't much cop in the first place. But could have been a bit more fun and exciting. Nice to have a bit of ghostbusting music in the game. But we got some really sort of drab graphics, and some of the sprites look pretty dreadful, to be honest with you. Some of them don't even have any frames of animation. But it's relatively fun. I guess it should have had a continue system, and I think with the sort of having to reload and go back to level 1 again really killed it, especially if you got the tape version. Disc, not so bad, but as we've discovered, the disc dump, or at least 2 of them, have bugs and corruption, so they don't work. Maybe we need to do another dump of the discs. But anyway, yeah, I'm struggling to really sort of give this game a score, really. I think Amstrad Action gave it about 57%, and you know what, I kind of agree with them. I think I'll give this a 6 out of 10, but only just. I think there's a lot worse games out there. And I think it manages the 8-way scrolling alright as well. I've seen a lot worse. Certainly with all the sprites and action on the screen, they're not done too bad, but I do feel like the base of the Amstrad version's kind of like been the last in line after the Specky and Commodore and Atari ST and Amiga. Oh, hey! Stage 10 is loaded. Hurrah! Right, let's go. And yeah, different level layout. A totally different level this time. Good. It's not reused one from earlier. I can tell you guys, basically go across the bridge there to the right, move up, and then across the first bridge you come back onto the left. And this is the easiest route through level 10. There's the bridge. Oh, just waiting above you there is some nasty holes that spawn lots of evil magician like wizard type dudes there. Much easier just to avoid them all. Yes, I'm here having a bit of a problem sort of placing my sprite. It can be a little bit awkward sometimes. I'm trying to get him diagonally shooting against that thing there. Oh, I eventually did it. Okay, so boss battle should be coming up shortly. Thought I could pick up that Slimer icon, but it's actually the section above me, so I need to go up the steps first to get it, which is pointless against the boss battles really. Because basically you just stand at a distance and fire away at them. Oop. Thought I'd get rid of that gargoyle head or whatever on the wall there first. Ooh, weapon pickup, nice. Oh, there's another one there. I can't remember what that does. I think that just allows you to shoot more bullets, I think. I've just killed one of the bosses off the edge of the screen there, and there's the other one. Looks absolutely pathetic. And that's the final boss done. Pick up the key. And let's pray to God that the ending section loads up. And let's hope it's worth the wait. Oh guys, we've got to go back to Ghostbusters HQ and deposit the ghosts. You know what, I'm already thinking of knocking half a mark off this game. I think this was driving absolutely bananas if you had this on tape. With all this bloody loading. You know what, I don't really consider that in my reviews actually. That's a good point actually. I mean, you know, I review games from the point of view when I'm playing it on the emulator, and having a jolly good time with that, with all the tools and stuff to fast load games and things like that. And you often forget that, you know, you would have bought that game on cassette and had to wait, you know, half an hour sometimes for it to load up. And what happens if you died? You know, did you have to reload the entire game or the levels or what? Did you have continues? Was the game too difficult? I don't often consider that, guys, actually. And I think I ought to, really, for future games. But I guess no one's really going to bother too much getting a 464 out and loading games from cassette these days, when you can, you know, load them instantly on a PC. So are we judging them by today's standards? In context, or are we judging them as you would have bought them at the time? I don't know. I guess I'm somewhere in between that, and I'm basically jabbering away here, filling time up, because this ending this ending must be absolutely amazing, because it's taking about bloody 2 minutes to load up. So I'm just filling time a bit, jabbering away for it to finish loading. I think it's over 2 minutes just to load this up, so I'm expecting something really fantastic. Well, I know what's waiting for us, so obviously I'm being a bit sarcastic here. Alright, here we go. Are you ready? Are you waiting? 3, 2, 1. And that's it! Congratulations, you've saved the city. A really, really awful, very, very orange endgame screen of the Ghostbusters HQ, which is bizarrely called Ghost House, which is wrong. Anyway, I've had enough. Thanks for watching. See you next time, and enjoy the title music in full. Cheers. Bye.